Ooh, okay. Um, don't scale chaos.
If you motivate an idiot, they do dumb things faster.
If you're a hot mess trying to manage 3 clients, it's going to be a complete dumpster fire with 30.
This is the Power Moves for Business Growth podcast, presented by Gulfside Business Solutions, where stories and strategies meet to fuel your growth. At GBS, we bring together expertise in financing, strategy, marketing, tax, legal, and business operations, all to help you make the power moves that drive lasting success. Join us as we explore real-world insights and powerful moves from leaders, partners, and innovators shaping business growth today.
Welcome to the Power Moves for Business podcast, brought to you by Gulfside Business Solutions. I'm Joe Austin. I'm the owner of CJA Business Strategy. My co-host is Herb Johnson. He is the Chief Strategy Officer at Gulfside Business Solutions. Herb, how are you today?
Doing good, Joe. Thank you for asking.
Excellent. On Power Moves, we interview business leaders and entrepreneurs to find out the power moves that they've made to grow their careers. Our goal is to help you find your next power move so you can grow your career and your business as well. Today, we're going to meet Angela Bryant. She is the owner of Nest Egg Digital. With 25 years of strategic marketing experience across IT, government, and banking industries, Angela drives the development of targeted marketing programs that deliver positive results. I can attest to this firsthand. Angela, welcome to Power Moves.
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
This episode, we talk about the power moves that changed Angela's business, like protecting your time, pivoting early, charging your worth, and learning how to let go of what no longer fits. We also talk about the role intuition plays and how trusting it has helped her reinvent her business time and again. If you're building a business, rebuilding one, or just trying to keep yours from catching fire, this episode is for you. Come laugh with us, learn from Angela's 25-year highlight reel, and walk away with your next power move.
Angela, you've been marketing for 25 years. What did you do? Start when you were 10? I mean, you don't look that old.
I appreciate that. I did once get in trouble. My mother told me I could not have a yard sale in the front yard. I was trying to make some money for some toy. And I got in trouble because I went to the neighbor and asked if I could rent her yard for $1. And I had my yard sale in her yard. And that's when my mom realized that letter of the law was going to be an issue. I got started back in the 90s. Funny story, I had just launched myself. I had just bought a condo. I had a whopping $600 a month mortgage payment. And I had my first big girl job. And I was so excited. And the recession hit. And I saw friends of mine who got fired, let go due to no fault of their own. And I was freaking out. Came home one day, I had to come to Jesus talk with my cat, who was very unencumbered with my anxiety. And I literally thought to myself, I need a nest egg. And that's when I started my company to give me kind of another path to revenue in case I lost my job. Thankfully did not, but that's where we got started.
Well, you know, to make you feel better, the 90s was kind of my heyday. So you're not that old. Don't worry about it. I'm interested in your response to this. Marketing in the 90s versus marketing in 2025. How's it different?
Well, it's drastically different, as I'm sure, we've all experienced. It didn't look anything like it does now. No social media, no Canva. It was truly dark times, guys. But what it did is it really forced you to build that initial marketing strategy. Who are we talking to? Where are they hanging out? What's important to them? What are we trying to get them to do? So by having that more traditional marketing foundation, I think that really helps me deliver those services because we start there with everything we do. It's not just, we don't just do ideas in a vacuum across digital. Digital, incredibly powerful. It allowed us to kind of put a black line between the advertising and marketing efforts we throw out there and ROI. So that has been a big benefit. But yeah, I mean, it's really allowed us to merge technology with those, strategic oversights that need to underpin every activity.
If you look at marketing back in the 90s, for example, um, and I'm giving you some statistics here from then, the average time a person had to see you to just have a little interest was maybe a dozen times, between 10 to 15 times. Today, I'm curious, any idea what that number is?
You can triple that.
Yeah, I would think
It
at least.
does depend on the industry. It depends on if you're product based, service based, who your clients are. B2B versus B2C have different paths to capture. So it does kind of depend. I will say that for product based companies, as you're on the internet, and you get pummeled by the same ad over and over again. Seeing as how I am from the marketing aspect, I work in marketing. I am so susceptible to these marketing ads, and sometimes I just see them so much. I'm like, okay, I'll get it. Let's try this. So yeah,
I'm the same way. That's why I'm laughing. It's like stuff will come in, and my wife will say, "What is this?" And it's like, I don't remember, but I really liked it. I liked the ad.
Growing your business doesn't stop when this episode does. That's why Gulfside Business Solutions and CJ Business Strategy offer webinars to help you grow your leads, sales, revenue, and profits. This isn't a lecture. This is an interactive session where we're going to help you grow your business. To learn more and to register, go to gulfsidebusinesssolutions.com/webinars. Now, back to Power Moves. Let's stay in the time capsule a little bit longer. What were some of the most important lessons that you learned as you started and grew your agency?
Ooh, okay. Don't scale chaos.
If you motivate an idiot, they do dumb things faster.
If you're a hot mess trying to manage 3 clients, it's going to be a complete dumpster fire with 30.
Right.
So creating that initial structure, not because we have to have rules everywhere, but because sanity is important. Putting some kind of structure that is repeatable and scalable is really a good thing to kind of have in your blood early on. The other thing that I would say is really know your value. A lot of my early years, I was undercharging, like my business was just a hobby. Eventually you get to the point where you can really stand up and confidently deliver on the value without apologizing or second guessing yourself. And I think lastly, really, it's that overall kind of inner support and that little voice that kind of keeps you going. It's like, okay, yeah, this is a little messy. Panic later, keep going. We're going to get through it. So kind of continuing to do that and follow your gut.
So let's help people learn from your experiences. Can you think of a specific "I'll never do that again" moment?
100%. Never let your guard down while being interviewed by a reporter. This was an early lesson early on when I was still working, representing some of my corporate clients. I spent 2 hours talking to a reporter, delivering all of my really nicely prepared talking points about winning this really large government contract that was really violently competed. I was hitting all of my marks. I was feeling great about how I was presenting myself and the company I was working for, and everything was going great. And at the end of the interview, she turns to me and she goes, "Wow, you guys must really be celebrating this really big win." And my response was, "Yeah, it's been a bit of a party." Guess which quote made it into her article?
Yes.
2 hours and the last 30 seconds. Yeah. So just be cautious about that. And I think that kind of gets back into like expertise and then being prepared, both for what you want to do as well as what's going to happen if it goes a little bit off the rails.
Don't lose your concentration with us. You don't want another pull quote that you don't like.
Yeah. All right. You've told us what not to do. Can you give us some power moves for our listeners as to how you've built your agency over the last 25 years? Maybe the things that you deem most important that actually propelled your agency.
Definitely. Boundaries, I think, is a big one. If you don't protect your time, someone else is going to take it. And in this world of technology where the lines between work and play are constantly getting blurred, it's a blessing and a curse to be able to work from everywhere, anywhere, at any time.
Right.
And as a business owner, we often have this, like, I can't say no. So you really have to be careful with your own time. Um, and then pivoting early, especially in marketing. If you wait until something happens and you're forced to change, you're already behind. Adaptability in your business is definitely a requirement. And then letting go of things and clients that no longer fit. It's kind of like a catch and release, repeat as needed.
Right.
A lot of business owners, that's a very uncomfortable action.
Yeah, I'll kind of chime in there with you. That's one thing I learned in the asset management business that I was in for 30 plus years was that, sometimes people just don't fit. And sometimes it was me and sometimes it was them. From my perspective, I could tell in the first 15, 20 minutes, this is going to work or it isn't. And if it didn't, I just I'd refer them to three other people and go there because just based on our personalities, I don't think it's going to work. To me, that was probably a game changer because I never worked with anybody I didn't want to work with from that point forward. And it's really hard when you're in business to have that mindset. The good Lord had blessed me enough to be able to do that. But yeah. So out of the three that you gave us, which one would you have preferred to happen quickest?
The being confident enough in my business to say no. As a business owner, there's kind of this feast or famine mindset that infects you right from the start. And I really think that has the potential to cause more bad decisions than it really should. And what I did find is once I kind of implemented, these power moves, I didn't really realize that that's what I was doing. But once I kind of had them in place, they require trust in myself, in the timing, in the bigger picture, in my people. And sometimes I couldn't see that bigger picture. And so you just kind of have to go. You have to go with it.
There are more power moves to be made, and we're going to help you. Right now, Gulfside Business Solutions is offering all of their business strategy books free of charge. This includes the Power Moves book, 2 business strategy books from me at CJA Business Strategy, and a marketing strategy book from our friends at Tylerica Marketing Systems. This offer might not last, so get your free resources now. Go to gulfsidebusinesssolutions.com/resources. Now, back to the show. There's a lot of career hopping these days. I think it's a generational thing. I don't want to paint anyone with a broad brush, but you're 25 years into marketing and you're obviously still passionate about it because, it's clear. What is it that keeps you excited about your work?
I would really say curiosity and purpose. I'm kind of a little bit like a butterfly with hiccups. Marketing changes every 5 minutes. And I kind of love that. Like that drives a lot of people crazy. But for me, it kind of keeps me on my toes in a fun way, not in a why is this happening to me way. And then the purpose, because I get to help other businesses grow as well. And that still really means a lot to me. It's kind of like solving a puzzle all day, except the puzzles are people's dreams and efforts and legacy. And really the combination of those two really keep me energized.
Good. Very good. So tell us how, you kind of said helping other people, and that's kind of what I focused on in your response. Tell us how your faith, your intuition, all that kind of stuff, how's that guided you to be able to survive for 25 years, but not only survive, but prosper and still be passionate about it?
I think that's a really good question. I would say on the decision-making side, it really helps me slow down instead of immediately reacting. To your point earlier, if something feels rushed or misaligned or driven by fear, I've learned to pause and listen to that internal check. Some of my best decisions have really come from trusting a quiet, like, this doesn't fit feeling, even when something looks really good on paper. And I'd say with clients and partners, that same inner guidance helps me prioritize alignment over volume. You can't force a relationship to work. If expectations aren't clear, values don't match, or the partnership feels really one-sided, I've learned it's better to have an honest conversation early and even walk away than to push through and just create stress for everybody. I think finally, you don't need to have the entire plan mapped out to move forward. You just need that next step. That mindset has really shaped how I guide my clients too. We focus on progress, not perfection. We want to build momentum instead of waiting for everything to feel perfect and ready. And sometimes the most powerful move you can make in business or partnerships is really trusting that you're capable, you're resourceful, and you've already really built more resilience than you think.
Yeah, I will tell you, to me, that's imperative, because you can't do everything. And
Right.
if people are trying to micromanage you, or they're constantly invading your space with questions that they can find elsewhere, it's not productive for anyone, and it's more frustrating.
Absolutely.
I tell you what, this is a part of the program where we ask you to tell people where they can find you at.
Probably in a bookstore or the library. Still,
That's not what we meant. How they can work with you.
It's okay. If we got stalkers or something, now they know.
I can be reached directly via email at angela@nest-egg.com, or you can go directly to our website at nest-egg.com, and that dash is a hyphen.
Very good.
Awesome. Okay, time for our Power Moves tradition. We don't wrap the show until the guest makes us laugh. So, Angela, what do you got?
Well, I've got an SEO marketer walks into a bar near me, bars, tavern, pub, public house, Irish pub, drinks, liquor, beer, alcohol.
That is a marketing joke for sure.
Keywords.
Yeah, keywords. You've done too much
awesome.
SEO in your life, dear. That was funny.
Angela, thank you so much for joining us on Power Moves. The passion that you still have after 25 years is inspiring. Your insight, I think, is going to be amazing for our listeners. Thank you also to our audience. We hope that we have provided you with your next power move. Until next time, God bless.
Thanks for joining us on the Power Moves for Business Growth podcast, presented by Gulfside Business Solutions. If you enjoyed today's conversation, follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts, and share it with someone making their next big move. Learn more about how GBS helps businesses grow at gulfsidebusinesssolutions.com. Until next time, keep making the power moves that fuel your growth.